That's really, truly powerful.
Seriously, listen, because I've already filmed 3,000 videos.
How do you work your voice? Facial expressions?
2 minutes without breathing, I don't know, like a double somersault. You get it? What really helped me too was that I used to sell pies on the beach and I made 50,000 rubles a day. I mean, I got to the point where I was checking about 1,500 comments a day on TikTok. Well, haters are basically your most loyal fans. Let those fans go to hell. I don't need them at all. Well, then we started having these kinds of challenges, like doing push-ups, then doing push-ups in a planche, and then he even started doing the Superman move. I was like, no way, am I being noticed? Here's your secret to success.
Every morning, almost every single day now, there's some really cool conversation happening here with an absolutely fascinating and truly interesting person, sometimes even more than one a day. It's pure, wonderful creativity. When you're already inspired by new ideas in the morning,
Isn't it tough? No? Or is it fine?
It's awesome.
Listen, I really can't film that much. I mean, for example, I have 2 hours set aside for filming, but I can't shoot for 2 hours straight because it's hard. My vocal cords really get tired. So
I was watching your filming process today, and you have really great articulation, intonation, and this liveliness, this engagement. You really act when you improvise like that. And I saw how an idea is born. You form it, you get fired up, you deliver it, and then immediately stop. And all of that happens in 2 or 3 minutes.
yes,
I mean, this cycle, it's just brilliant.
thank you.
I was just standing there really enjoying the whole process. It's really powerful.
You know, seriously, because I've already filmed 3,000 videos. You see, over these 4 years, I've shot 3,000 videos. So I've tried filming with a script. You just can't act that emotionally with a script. You know what I mean? What you do on camera when it's improvised, your emotions are real. As soon as you have a script, it just falls flat. It's really hard to act strictly according to script. That's why it's really hard for me to imagine how actors actually do it. You know, it's really only that kind of emotional spontaneity that lets your body convey and express the right emotions. For example, when I first started making TikToks, they were so stiff. It was just awful. So, you know, I want to say what's interesting is, well, you could call it my creative development. And it happened gradually, step by step. I mean, it's impossible to shoot a great video right away.
Yes.
No way at all. No matter how well you prepare, no matter how perfectly you memorize all the lines, it will still come out stiff because your body doesn't know how to deliver it yet. You don't know how to gesture, you don't know how to raise your eyebrows, use facial expressions, or control your tone. Basically, you don't know how to do anything. All of this only comes with experience. And when I shot my first videos, it was really cool for me. I was like, damn, I made some awesome videos. 6 months later, I rewatch the old ones and think, what the hell? What kind of nonsense is this? Another 6 months go by, and I look back at myself from 6 months ago. How could they have filmed that? Why are there long pauses? 6 months. 6 months. You get it?
Yeah.
Only now, after 4 years of filming, when I look at my videos from 6 months ago,
Yeah.
I can see that they're good.
Yep.
You see what I mean? I mean, I don't see any major flaws in them anymore. Or maybe even say 7 months ago, the videos were already really great. Or maybe I've just become desensitized. I admit that too, you know, like I've reached a certain level and that's it. I can't go any higher. Or maybe the videos really are cool. Because, for example, I really don't see any actual mistakes there, maybe just a little bit emotionally, but it's really minor, just tiny things.
How did you work on your voice and facial expressions?
You know, that's a very, very interesting topic. Actually, I picked up a couple of tricks. You absolutely can't shoot truly great videos if you don't take the time to warm up your voice before you start recording, right? So like right now when we're talking, my voice is high pitched. That's just how it is for me. I mean, my voice is in a high register. And when I speak quickly, it stays that way no matter what. But when I'm filming videos on camera, it's different. It's completely different. Because first of all, I don't need to say long sentences since each shot I film has a specific number of words, right? Secondly, I use a certain technique. So before I start filming, right early in the morning, before the first takes, I say some funny phrases out loud. Like, for example, shkrlach or mlegla, just something like mulgluchno, basically some kind of nonsense. And secondly, when I need to say something, a phrase, in a lower tone, you lift your chin and say the letters G and K. G, K, G, K. Like this higher, higher, higher. Just G, K, G, K. And then you start speaking lower.
And then I start
S, huh?
right away. Wow.
Right away. Before every phrase, G, K, G, K. Okay, so guys, got it?
Yeah, cool.
It's an awesome thing.
Totally fire.
Before every phrase, I just say it, and that's it. So if I need to say something, if I need to lower it, that's it, GK. Well, now let's begin. And then off you go, off you go. Gradually, of course, the vocal cords rise again and everything goes higher again. But that's if we're talking specifically about the podcast right now. So when I'm recording videos, before every phrase I shoot, I do the GK. That's it. That really lowers the voice. And you also shouldn't forget that if I want to get something across, it's absolutely not necessary to speak quickly, right? I mean, here we're speaking fast, but there you can speak more slowly and maybe with some humor. Also, I have some shots where I don't speak at all. Why? You can just act it out emotionally. So all of this comes with experience. What I had 3 or 4 years ago was just pure fear. But now, of course, I have a clear sense of how far I am from the camera. I mean, at first, when I was filming, I didn't have that knowledge. I had to shoot with the front camera, and the quality was crap. So I started filming with the main camera. But how? I couldn't see myself, so I would put a chair behind the camera on a tripod and put a mirror on the chair. You get it? There was just no other way. Yeah, so that's how it was. And when I had already filmed like 1,000, 2,000, or even 3,000 videos, I could logically figure out exactly where I was in the frame. When I was looking into the camera, how I was standing and what distance I needed. So it's just a skill, nothing more. I mean, the human body can do anything, 20 minutes without air. I don't know, a double somersault. You can learn to do anything if you just practice.
So you didn't take any courses or training, you just honed your skills and picked things up here and there?
Yes. But listen, that's what they call visual experience. You see, I always watch how someone does something. This goes back to my TikTok days when I was just starting out. I mean, first of all, I would read every single comment, all of them. So when I had, say, 10,000 followers, that was one thing. When it was 100,000 was another. And when it reached 1 million, it was something else entirely. I got to the point where I was checking about 1,500 comments a day on TikTok. Click, click, click. All that is ideas, not all of them. But among them, you come across some really interesting ideas for future videos. Cool. It's like a treasure trove of content. Then when TikTok was shut down in Russia, and what's interesting is that I had 1 million followers there, right? It got shut down, and now 2 years later, I already have 6 million. What they're all doing there now is a mystery. So I switched completely to YouTube. Accordingly, on YouTube, I also read all the comments, absolutely all of them. When you have 2 million subscribers, sometimes you get 2 or even 3,000 comments a day. First of all, I take myself and my attitude toward the world very seriously. If someone insults me, well, that's normal. Out of 2 million people, there are bound to be some jerks who just want to do that. Of course, I block them. I mean, I need to find that negativity and get rid of it. I mean, why? Why would you watch my content if you don't respect me? Right? Exactly. So I just get rid of them all. It's the same on Instagram. So my content is as clean as possible, and everyone says, wow, how do you do that?
Hate.
Yeah. Well, haters are supposed to be your most loyal fans. Well, those fans can go to hell. I don't need them at all. I definitely don't need people like that. But what about constructive criticism? I mean, if I didn't ask for criticism and you're criticizing me, then most likely you're just trying to insult me. But if I said, guys, I'm struggling with this part, please give me some advice, then they'd say, Spartak, right here, you got a mistake here and here. That's awesome. But if someone says, you're filming badly, and here you are standing in leggings like some kind of... That's not criticism, that's just nonsense. So block, block, block. And honestly, I feel totally fine about it. Why should I argue with someone, with anybody, right? Try to prove something to them, all that. Just block them to hell, and that's it. And it actually works great in real life, too. Because there are people who, for example, are just negative. You cross them out, stop communicating with them, and that's it, that's all. And you feel great.
How did your journey as a blogger unfold in terms of different stages? So you started filming at 39, but you didn't become a blogger at 39.
No, of course not, of course.
You also mentioned how you used to record your exercises on videotapes. Honestly, even back then, you were already taking your first steps as a blogger. Can you describe your trajectory like that? The stages of your development as a blogger and the steps you went through. What changed in you? What tricks did you discover? What helped you move to the next level?
Well, to start with, when I was 16, yes, I got a video camera that was in 1996. At that time, my idol was Van Damme. I would watch Van Damme frame by frame, specifically how he swings his arms and exactly how his feet are positioned. What the hell does he jump from? How does he do it? How does he jump like that? Then how his legs spread, which leg goes after which. Well, you can see everything, right? I mean, that's why we record it. So how do the legs open up? Where do the arms go? Because you really need a whole lot of body coordination for that. Then I would set up the video camera and jump myself 5 times, or maybe 10. After that, I'd take the small tape out of the video camera, put it into an adapter for the bigger video camera, record it onto a cassette, and compare myself how I jump. Like this, like this, like this, like this. Aha, well, all right. In the end, after 6 months, I learned to do a spin jump exactly like he did. So obviously, this was nothing like blogging, because back then, YouTube didn't even exist yet. There was nothing like that at all. YouTube only came out in, 2005? I was already 25 by then. So I was doing those jumps at 16, 25 years ago. That's why it's hard to call it blogging. But the main thing is the goal. If a person has a goal, they will always achieve it. What's interesting, what really helped me was that I used to sell pies on the beach, right? That really boosted my communication skills and in general got rid of any fear of talking to people. Because, well, if you can sell pies on the beach to people you don't know,
You can do anything.
you can basically chat with anyone about anything. I don't like phone calls under any circumstances because I worked as an interior designer for 6 years. And when, let's say, wealthy clients would say, Spartak, we need the design for an apartment or a house. So I do the first design and they'd be like, that's awesome, and just hand you the money. But when it's regular clients, they need a design for a 1x1 meter bathroom, you know? You end up getting completely worn out working with them. They say, well, it's good, but maybe change something here. No, not bad, but move this over there and maybe something else somewhere else and hang a picture here. In the end, I just got totally fed up with both design and clients. I said, to hell with it. I'm going to work on websites instead. I started working on websites. It's easier there. It's all online. Nobody knows you, sees you, or hears you. You just do your thing and that's it. As for conversational skills, well, that experience was just amazing for that. But when it comes to technical skills, that really started when I met my wife, Yulka, 4 years ago. She was editing videos for Instagram stories, literally using InShot, and I picked it up from her. I asked how she did it, because wow, that's impressive. If she can do it, I figured I probably could too. So I started editing, and then she basically took over and ran with it. So our channel is called Sjbody, where S stands for Spartak, J is for Julie, Yulka, and of course Body. Basically, I took over, and now almost all the videos are mine. Well, that's just how it turned out. It's fine.
Were there any moments where you thought, oh, I discovered something new for myself, I started doing things differently, the level went up, the audience grew, or maybe there were certain stages, like milestones or important turning points you went through, something like that?
You definitely need to make viral videos. That is, as soon as you start analyzing your audience, figuring out what they need, and you know for sure that something will trigger them, your subscriber count grows. For example, on YouTube, I've had these wild spikes in subscribers. On one of those days, like 12,000 people subscribed to me, you know? That's a lot.
Yep.
One day. Monthly was 170,000. That's a hell lot. I know what contributed to that and what will make it happen again. Now, basically, I just need to set a goal for myself and make similar videos. Those were challenges, right? But the challenges weren't just random. These were challenges, you know, with some kind of where there was deception involved, a bunch of different shots. Well, there was this one character, like a guy with the nickname Joker, who wanted to advertise with me for money. Well, I didn't mind. So we filmed some cool showdowns together. So, like, I'm scrolling through my feed and checking out what's going on, and it turns out there's this whole thing happening. And he's there challenging me. I go to the gym, we shoot a ton of footage. Yulka's filming from behind on a bike as I head to the gym, done. I walk in with a lean, do the exercise. It doesn't work out. I head back, again, the road back. I film shots of me opening the door, taking off my slippers, and it's just Yulka's feet and slippers. So I open the Nutella, eat it, go back to the gym, and then everything finally works out for me. In the end, I found out he tricked me. So that's the storyline, and it all fits into 1 minute. There are just, I don't know, like 70 scene changes, probably. It blew up like crazy, you know? I mean, from just that one video, the YouTube video, 90,000 people actually decided to subscribe to me.
Wow.
90. So in total, overall, the time, like a little over a year, that's 90,000. The second video we made together got me 20,000 subscribers. We made a third video with him, another 15. That's a huge amount from just one video, you know? That's a lot. So logically, I understand that if you release videos like that every month, you've basically found the secret to success.
How did your income change as your audience grew? How is your audience size connected to your income?
With all these 6 million TikTok, I don't know how to monetize at all. I honestly have no idea how anything works there. So I definitely need to come up with funnels, and then everything will be fine. Right now, I'm also working on funnels. The only thing is, this past week really threw me off track. To be honest, my Instagram isn't really monetized much either. The only thing is, well, for example, marathons, I do those. Like, I run stories there. Again, I don't have a content plan, so I need to sort all that out too. Definitely, even when I had a ton of followers and supporters on TikTok, there was absolutely no money coming in. Only after TikTok got shut down, we switched over to YouTube. And for 6, even 7 months straight, we uploaded 3 videos a day from TikTok, just reposting them. And there was absolutely no growth at all. Can you imagine 6 months of 3 videos a day? That's 200. Well, how much is that? 6, 30, 100, 700 videos were uploaded and nothing happened. So there were 4,000 subscribers and it became 6 or maybe 7,000. And at some point, either new videos started coming out or a critical mass built up. Most likely it was the critical mass, videos. Yeah, for Methan, we started doing more challenges like push-up contests and other stuff with Tolik. I actually know him from TikTok. When I hit 30,000 followers on TikTok, I was invited to join the Russian TikTok athletes chat. And there were people like Yura and a bunch of others. I used to look at them like they were gods because, well, but later, of course, I surpassed all of them and then people started getting annoyed with me. I said, Yura, come on, let's have a showdown or something. Let's do it. You keep saying you're an awesome athlete. Let's pick 10 disciplines. Let the followers decide which ones. You say you're amazing at deadlifts. Okay, let's do deadlifts. Abs, I don't know, standing long jump push-ups and some others. And we'll have a competition against each other. Like, who even needs you? I'm a world bodybuilding champion and you're basically nobody. I said, all right, then. Nobody, whatever. Have it your way. Golden fish. Yeah. And then October came about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And Wezo Tolik writes to me and says, Spartak, let's do. Look, I have a course on pull-ups. I say, so what? He says, well, yeah, people buy it, but like people don't know how to do pull-ups. That's normal. He says, let's make a course on push-ups. I say, but who's going to do push-ups? He says, no, it's fine. Let's do it. Only, he says, let's first Tolik's really good with storylines. Let's do some kind of warm-up. I say, let's do it. But the warm-up can only be in the form of challenges. That will really catch on. So Tolik does some push-ups, and I say, guys, look, there's some blogger, Tolik, doing some nonsense. But can you do this? And then I do a one-handed push-up. He responds with his own move. And we wrote out this scenario for 10 videos ahead, deciding who would do what. And it all happened very quickly. So yeah, every 3 days someone would post a response, or sometimes every 2 days. And it turned out that in October, on October 20th, I had 500,000 subscribers. And by November 1st, I already had 600,000. 100,000 subscribers in 10 days on YouTube, thanks to these very things. And what about Tolik? Tolik had 98,000 subscribers over 3 years. And in just a month, he got another 100,000 from me, Oh. He was like, how did it double? He'd been messing around with this crap for 3 years, struggling. Well, after that, we started doing all sorts of challenges like push-ups and then push-ups in a planche position. And he even brought in some kind of Superman move. At that point, I found another guy who made me rating with lightning, sparks shooting from the eyes. We pulled off some crazy stuff there. Yura writes to me, sends a voice message, Spartak, that's just his style. So I watched you and Tolik there, good job challenging each other. So I thought, yeah, why don't you challenge me to a barbell curl? And then I'll do something too. Yura, is everything cool? Well, no. I say, why? Well, what's in it for me? He goes, well, it's interesting for both of us because I'll get involved, get to work on it. I say, well, look, okay, I'll remind you now, you bastard. Look, we have Tolian, he's the blonde one, right? We have Lados, he's fat. We have 200 volt, he's skinny. I say, Yura, everything is designed for us to, compete with each other, to insult each other a little bit. So that subscribers, like, what are you calling him names? Well, that's the trick that comes into play. So I said, I'm ready to accept you into the team, but only if I can call you the bald guy in the video, just as a bit of fun. He says, isn't there some way we can, maybe skip all that and just go straight to being friends, like without the whole nickname thing? I say, no, there really isn't. That's just how it is. So he records a video saying something like, Spartak, look, here I am. I'm doing the curl, just like you asked, something like that. I record a video in response saying, look who's joined in on the action. This is going to be great. Yura, the great, famous, legendary Yura Spasokukotsky. So I said, are we really going to beat the bald guy? Later, when Yura and I got to know each other, Yura realized that I'm actually really just a normal, regular guy. I mean, you see, the things I actually do, the stuff that really grabs the audience's attention, it's just to engage the audience, honestly. I'm not trying to position myself as like better than everyone or better than Yura or anything like that. He said, well, wow. He said, you're really something. And now we're friends, After that, we recorded a lot of different things together for a considerable amount of time. He said, but it's amazing how you somehow managed to gather such a huge teenage audience that really, really respects you. So I appeared on Yura's channel, and then I even managed to get on Sarachev's show, Naraz. I filmed with him in the summer, and then when we came back in the winter, why did we come in the winter? Sarichev writes to me and says, Spartak, I'm going to be hosting the World Championship here on December 16th, 17th, and 18th. And he says, I need you as a key opinion leader. So we already know each other, and I say, damn, Kirill, of course. The only downside I say is that, well, we're in Bali. He says, no problem. We'll buy the tickets. I say, I'm with my wife. Okay. Come with your wife, and like there's even an extra fee on top. I'm like, no way. Am I a celebrity or something? Well, that's cool. Pretty cool.
Awesome. Bringing us back to the question.
Go ahead. I got carried.
It was a great story. I really didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah.
Audience money. What's the correlation? What have you noticed? Where and how did your audience grow?
Yeah.
Effect on income.
Growth really took off when my YouTube subscriber count got close to 500,000. At that time, I was really putting effort into making videos for Yappy and Rutubedos, our Russian social networks. I was really working on them, trying to gain subscribers there, redirecting traffic, and so on. And I got to know, well, I was earning pretty well there. They were paying 100, 120, 130,000 a month. That was good money at the time. Here. And then I was talking to this one guy. By the way, it was also here in the park. And he said, man, I don't get why you're trying so hard to move your audience over to some random social networks. That's your audience sell, your own products. Just sell your own products. And I was like...
So you were earning from views?
There weren't really any views to speak of. It was just shorts. I mean, I did have some, I had some of my own products for sale, but I didn't advertise them because I felt kind of embarrassed. I don't know, it's weird. But now I said, guys, I have an awesome program for home and for the gym. And since we have 500,000 subscribers, there's a 50% discount, but only for one day. And in one day, I made 50,000 rubles, and 30 the next day, and then another 20. So I ended up earning 100,000. And people got access to all the good programs. They had just been sitting there for 3 or 4 years, and nothing was happening. So I started creating new programs, pull-up bars, parallel bars, dumbbells, you name it. I put all my effort into making really good, high-quality programs. And it took off. Turns out you can sell your own programs and make money from it. Then, of course, there are also advertisers who sometimes come along, and buy something. There's also YouTube itself.
You lack advertisers for your audience.
No. The thing is, you always have to reach out to everyone. I mean, I've never had and never will have any kind of crap that I wouldn't show to my own kids. So, yeah, there's sports nutrition, there's some clothing, stuff like that, protein bars, I don't know. Basically, there were energy drinks, but they're tasty, nothing bad.
So at first the income level was low when it was just ad revenue from views and a minimum from your own programs.
Yes.
The second stage, you launched your own programs, you started to multiply. How much did your income grow when you started multiplying your programs and doing it regularly?
Listen, it grew exponentially. So you release a new program and that's it. It sells and keeps working regularly. You release a second one, it adds to the first, and a third adds to the others. The only thing is you have to keep fueling it constantly. It's not like I release something and people just find out about it on their own and go, let's buy everything. Of course not. So you have to keep promoting it, explaining why it's great. Making videos, again, that's something I'm good at. So that's normal. Doing some contests, raffling off these programs. So it's interesting. For example, right now, my Telegram ended in March and I decided to make a show. What kind of show on Telegram? The Spartak show. Basically, I have 5 types of programs. For home, one for boys and one for girls. For the gym, one for boys and one for girls, that's 4. And then one for pull-up bars and parallel bars. In each category, I said, guys, in each category, it costs 1,000 rubles come join. You send in your starting photos and measurements. That will be the before. You train all month using my programs and then send your final after results. And for example, in the pull-up bars and parallel bars category, we have 60 people, so that's 60,000. Whoever gets the best result takes all 60,000. Me, well, I don't need it. Right now, there are just a ton of results coming in, all at once. And everyone asks, why do you even need this, right? I mean, I'm giving away all the money.
The audience.
That's not even the point. Now I have solid proof that my programs work, And for each program, I have like 10 awesome photos. That's cool, isn't it? Exactly. And for example, when we run marathons, the guys there lose weight really impressively too. I guide them through everything, explain, run the sessions, tell them how and why things work and so on. Again, before and after amazing results. So basically, this is what's called social proof, right? Like, I might be a great coach and you look great, but what about your clients? Yeah, you get what I mean? That's the point. Like I said, for example, I also run courses on blogging. So I have a domain name that I've been renewing since 2004. It's 20 years old. And I actually bought it. I bought it from a guy who had already been renewing it for 2 years. I remember I bought it for $100 back then. The domain name, what do you think it is? Do you know what the domain is, what it means?
Yes. A name and something about consulting?
No. Spartak.biz. Can you imagine how hard it is to buy the name Spartak? It's incredibly difficult getting Spartak. Biz was just unbelievably hard to find. So I keep renewing it, and right now I have a blogging website there, and I already have, well, about 200 students.
Cool.
Of course, not all of them have achieved the results. Just like not everyone who takes part in marathons achieves something, right? Because, well, it all depends entirely on the person who puts in the effort. But I have 3 people who have already reached 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. 200,000. That's awesome.
Time frame?
In about 8 months.
Impressive.
In a year.
Impressive. Well,
that's pretty cool. So basically, they figured out their own thing. There are people who made videos for YouTube, but for some reason they blew up on Insta. It's interesting, Like nothing happened on YouTube, but Insta just took off. That's cool. Some people do it here, some do it there. Some have 10, 20, 30, some have 100, and they show off their silver play buttons. Those are my students, and that's cool. So it's a long, long, long journey, but that's also social proof. It's awesome. And finally, I've stopped being embarrassed about it, because damn, well, who the hell knows?
And what's the structure of the cash flow from your own products, and how much comes from, well, mentoring?
My own products are the foundation. They're really the core of everything. Because, well, I'm not ashamed of them, and most importantly, they sell automatically. Mentoring is always work. Marathons are work, everything else is work, but those bring in passive income. I mean, we're talking about Kiyosaki, right? So that's the point. You really need to work on passive sources of income. So I'm sleeping, and the programs are selling. That's the goal. Accordingly, I need to do more and more advertising, create more quality products, and really I should be translating the apps into English. In short, there's a million things that need to be done moving forward.
It's no secret, but if you don't want to answer, you don't have to. How much do you make from an audience this size, say 8 million followers?
You shouldn't compare TikTok. TikTok 0, Instagram 0, YouTube.
Instagram 0.
Well, look, I don't monetize it directly, At best, I funnel them into a marathon, for those who are interested. I mean, Instagram itself doesn't pay. How would it pay? Well, it doesn't.
No, only people do.
Well, TikTok doesn't pay either. TikTok would pay if it. Well, now, monetization is enabled. At the very beginning, I had monetization enabled. I even earned 10,000 a couple of times, then they sent 20,000, then they sent 28,000 rubles. Those were the very last payments, right before they disabled monetization. As for YouTube, well, I won't name the exact figure, but I'll say that right now everything has really dropped because the views have dropped. Now, the audience has shifted. They have different kinds of interests. Summer was awesome. Summer was really cool. I thought, damn, if it stayed like that, I could have eventually saved up for a villa. But not yet.
Are you saving for something or tweaking things?
Yeah, you just have to keep working. You constantly have to look for different options. It's enough.
Enough for Bali?
Yeah, it's enough for Bali.
Enough for a happy life in Bali. That's great.
It'll do. Well, my wife and I don't spend a ton of money, I have to say. Like I said, we don't go to parties or anything. We don't have a million designer clothes or feel like we absolutely have to have something,
How much does it really cost to be a blogger? A 10-year-old tripod for $10, $150 for good audio, and $1,000.
A phone.
A phone.
Well, and the remote too. Our remote costs 300 rubles. You get what I mean, right? So it's not really about the equipment or any of that. It all comes down to your desire and your ability to create if you wanna. The main thing here isn't even about motivation at all.
Discipline is very important.
Discipline is the most important thing. If you make yourself want to do it, you'll succeed. If you're just relying on motivation, it'll last you, well, maybe a month, maybe a week.
That was one of the questions I especially wanted to discuss with you. When did you incorporate daily filming into your discipline?
Yes.
Daily creativity. It's not just about getting yourself into a certain state.
Listen, there's this thing,
Think of what you're going to say.
Yeah. A lot depends on your energy because sometimes, well, your energy is negative. Today I was angry. sometimes the humor just hits, you know, like I film it myself, rewatch it, and I crack up myself, you know, like, damn, this is going to be so funny. So if I know I filmed something and when I rewatch it, I laugh, I know for sure that video will take off because it's genuinely funny. It's especially funny when, for example, I have my dad as the second character. It takes me a bit longer to shoot scenes with my dad because I have to change costumes. You know, like actually putting on the mustache and all that. But those always go viral and they're really interesting. About discipline. You know, if you can, for example, get yourself used to brushing your teeth twice a day, then honestly, I don't see any reason why you couldn't, say, dedicate an hour a day to filming.
You know, the thing is,
Yeah.
our brain is often coming up with some programs, excuses like, what if it doesn't turn out quite right here? Well, maybe it's not worth spending the time then. And that's where this lack of discipline comes from, because you're constantly fighting these thoughts like, what if it doesn't work out?
If it doesn't work out.
Time spent, what if it fails?
Look, why does it all work? So for example, in my case, it's because I don't set myself up to think that I absolutely have to succeed, that I'm not making videos in order to become a millionaire blogger. You see, I don't have that goal and I never did. I make videos just for the sake of making videos. That's it. I mean, I want to do it in order to express my thoughts. That's the only reason I make videos. If I want to express something interesting, I make a video for that. If I were making videos to become a millionaire blogger and it wasn't working out, of course I would burn out instantly. Well, it's not working. It's not working. It's just not working. That's it. Not for me. Make videos without stressing, just film, post. And if it doesn't work, try again. Then suddenly comments come in. That's cool. Hey, how are you? You replied. You filmed another, it took off again. Then you shoot the next, it's awesome, you think nice, but again, it doesn't work out. Oh well, what next? I don't really have that kind of, you know, distinct mental block. Like, damn, if it doesn't work, then that's it. That's that kind of youthful maximalism. If you take that away, you just do it like a regular routine, like brushing your teeth, like eating. You still eat, right? Preferably breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can't skip that, can you? Well, you can, but what's the point? So I approach training in exactly the same way. Yeah, I mean, if I can set aside half an hour a day to train, well, you can spare half an hour, right? You can, if I just sleep instead, not go to the gym, not go film, I'll just sleep. But will that really bring me any satisfaction? Well, maybe. But I'll end up, you know, reproaching myself for it, right? I mean, you could have gone and filmed 3 videos right now, couldn't you? You could have gone to work out. It's just not worth it, you know? You just gradually train yourself to do something. You don't have to, like, say, as a beginner blogger, go and shoot 5 videos like I do. You'll freak out. It's impossible because you won't be able to say the lines the way I do, right? With the same intonation, the same everything, all of that, because you just don't have the experience yet. So, well, you can shoot one. Can you shoot one? You can just do it every day. That's all.
Publicity.
Right.
How did you go through the stages of accepting being in the public eye? At what point did you realize it could be overwhelming? When did you get a thrill from it? And were the times you felt fear? What range of emotions did you experience with publicity?
Look, since I don't really perceive, in the videos I make, for example, whether they go viral or not, honestly, I don't care. I mean, I do all of this for myself, right? So I don't consider myself a public figure. Yeah. Well, nothing has changed. I'm the same as I was, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I'm still the same person. I don't see myself as some kind of stuck-up celebrity at all. Or like, if someone comes up to me and I say, get lost, I'm not taking a photo with you. Well, that's just nonsense. I mean, I'm just an ordinary, polite, normal person who's like, well, cool.
What are you striving for, besides the villa you already mentioned today?
Listen, I definitely need to have different sources of passive income. I mean, I realize this more and more with each passing day. So you need different sources of passive income so that you're never tied to just one thing, because it's all very fragile. There was a time when I was doing interior design and I thought, damn, this is awesome. I'm making $2,000 or $3,000, sometimes even $6,000 a month. I'm not a programmer. I'm not a web developer. I only started doing design later. And basically now I can draw something, in Photoshop. I'm not any of those people. I'm an organizer, right? So I come up with an idea and then I think, who can make it happen? A programmer can make it happen. So I posted like, who can do this for me? One programmer responded and said, I'll do it for $100. I said, that's a bit much. Then another one said, I'll do it for 50, like today. I said, let's give it a try. It was actually really interesting because I was constantly coming up with new ideas. I said, Sasha, can you do it? Because his name was Sasha. I said, Sanya, can you make this thing for me? I want to be able to click here and then have these actions happen so that in the end it leads to this result. He said, okay, that'll cost you like $200. I said, fine, let's do it. We did it. I tested everything, clicked through it all. It didn't work. Well, the method didn't, but can you do it like this? How about like this? And in the end, by trying this and that, I stumbled upon a really interesting thing, which I think allowed me to bypass the search engines, both Yandex and Google at that time. Of course, this trick doesn't work anymore now, but at that time, I managed to bypass them, and I had cooking websites. I had some other sites too. They were all at the top of the rankings for low-frequency queries. You know what low-frequency queries are, right?
Yeah.
So basically, all the low-frequency keywords were mine, even all the mid-frequency ones. So, for example, let's say recipes or something like that. So I had a cooking website. I made a cooking website, and it started bringing me, for instance, about $800 a month. I sold it for $15,000. Bought a car, and I was like, wow, awesome. Mm-hmm. I made a few more of them. One was a financial site. I sold that one for $20,000. Then I had a big cooking site, and it started bringing me $2,000 a month. Straight from center. But it scares me when you have such a big asset. I get scared. God forbid something happens to it, because I know everything can break. Sites, engines, anything can go wrong. 6 months later, I check and it's not working.
Well, if it hasn't really worked for 6 months, it means the person who bought it couldn't replicate what you were doing.
Yes.
If you had kept it.
Maybe. Anyway, I sold one site for $40,000. $40,000 the guy actually came to me. We signed the contract. It was a whole process. I bought an apartment, and the apartment absolutely had to be before I turned 35. And I actually bought the apartment right at 35. Awesome.
Yeah.
I saved up, and at one point I had $80,000. I was like, damn, that's insane. If I sold 3 sites there, yes, and made money, well, there I sold 5 sites and made that much money.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to multiply all of this by 10. I hired 10 people. They were working for me, copywriters, girls sitting there grinding away in the apartment. We were writing, and I was going to make 300 sites. I made 300 sites, and everything crashed. Damn, I should have just bought 2 more apartments instead. You get it? It was the same with websites. I did that for 5 or 6 years. Everything crashed. All right. I did design for 5 years too, all of that. Well, okay. So I logically understand that my work or business cycle is about 5 or 6 years.
Interesting.
It is interesting, actually.
For some people, the cycle lasts decades, but for you, it's 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, maybe. So I logically understand that I'm definitely due for a new wave right now. That could mean English language websites or something else, a lot of things.
English could really give you a huge boost right now, especially since your product isn't really tied to language.
But it's still connected. I mean, I do talk about it there. Basically, I really need to...
You need to translate all.
Yeah, I really need to put in the effort, really focus, and just do it. Well, it's interesting. Why not? It'll be harder. But it will happen. You just have to do it.
What are your daily rituals?
I get up at 6, sometimes even usually without an alarm, like at 5:50, right? I get up, wash up my salva, go to the bathroom, come back, and always drink a glass of hot water. That is, I have 400 milliliters of hot water. Then protein with water. Then a pre-workout. That's it. At 7 o'clock, I head over here. Accordingly, everyone, 003705, I am here in the hall. I film here in this black hole until 8 or 8:30, depending on the day of the week. Then I go and work out for half an hour, or sometimes I add in some stretching. Then I come back and make myself some scrambled eggs. After that, I do some work, then take a nap at lunchtime, then do something else, scroll through my feed again, study some English. And basically, that's it. That's what my day looks like.
From all your experience, if you were to put together a set of clear, concrete actions that would help someone who runs a blogger find their own authenticity, strengthen it, and also take steps to grow their audience, what would those be? What are the 5 most solid, specific actions you would recommend to benefit those who are watching us today?
Specifically about blogging, right? So for those who want to become bloggers and, some fame.
The best possible result right now is having an audience. That's an amazing achievement. How you monetize it is a separate question.
Everyone can monetize.
But the fact that you have a huge audience is an outstanding result. Well, how many people are there with an audience of 8 million?
Some.
In Russia?
There are different people.
100? Fewer? More? Well, I don't know.
Well, there are some cool bloggers.
Not thousands.
Not thousands. At best dozens, maybe just a handful, I would say. That's cool.
That is an outstanding result. Highlighting it to those who are following this path so they can grow.
All right. The first thing is consistency. That is, you really do have to release something every single day. You need to get into the mindset that you're doing something and just do it. Shoot, edit, upload. Shoot, edit, upload. Second, you always need to work ahead. So why do I film 5 videos? Because 2 of them will be for, say, the day after tomorrow, and 2 or perhaps even 3 will be for the following day as well. You should always have videos prepared in advance. You need to work ahead because situations can be unpredictable. You need to go somewhere. You are sick, you have, I don't know, a tooth, a leg, an arm, whatever. For me, for example, it's 2 videos a day. So if it was 3 weeks, that means I had 40 videos prepared in advance. Next, you shouldn't, in any case, put everything on the line, right? Like, this idea of, I'm going to quit my job right now and become a blogger and start raking in the cash. No way. That definitely won't happen because you really do need to become a blogger first. And only then, after that, you can quit your job. You can just quit your job and become a blogger because you won't be able to handle it. Right now, you have a surge of motivation, but it won't last. It won't be enough. So when you're working and at the same time, you're filming videos, editing them, uploading them, and things are already starting to happen. That's what's interesting. That's exactly what I did. So things were already taking off for me. I was working as a coach and I already had 1 million followers on TikTok. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, it was fine. And while I wasn't on YouTube yet, I still kept going to work. But it was fine. I worked normally, earned about 130,000 a month as a coach. And I was grinding it out on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays with 10 clients each day. That means I was on my feet for 10 hours, talking with them. Well, I liked coaching, no question about it. All the people were just awesome, great, really interesting connections. It was really cool, but it was tough. And on top of that, I still had to film something today. Plus, I had to upload it, eat, sleep, rest, and cuddle with my wife. So in short, it was really tough. And little by little, I just kept grinding away. So that's our third point. Basically, we work ahead of time, and we work ahead without expecting that you'll instantly become a blogger. No, that's never going to happen. Exactly. Fourth, what else could I say for the fourth point?
What gives you the maximum reach, in your opinion? You already talked about challenges.
Yes. Look, here's the thing. You need to develop an eye for things. In other words, you can't make a great video if you have no idea what's going on out there. I'd also recommend subscribing to, or at least just checking out English language accounts to see what people are doing. Because sometimes you come across really cool ideas there that you can just jot down for yourself. Like you watch some video and it has 1 million likes. If it has 1 million likes, that means it has at least 10 million views, maybe even 20, because that's just how the stats work. 1 million likes. What is the person doing? The person is doing this, this, and this. The cuts are like this, like that, or maybe there are no cuts at all. But what actually happens? Like I saw this one video where a girl is making coffee, maybe a glacé or something, I don't know. Anyway, she has a plastic bottle. She pours coffee into it, just pours it in. She's all careless. And damn, the coffee spills and the sugar spills too, right onto the table. That really annoys perfectionists. They watch and think, damn, what are you doing? She throws in the ice, shakes it all up, then does this and ends up with this kind of coffee. And when she puts the ice in the straw, the ice misses too. She just brushes everything off and that's it. And that gets millions and millions of views. Because it annoys people, That's the fourth one, right? Fifth, what else? Fifth. From here on, you just need skills. That is only skills. You won't be able to, just so you understand, you'll never be able to shoot a cool video in your first try. No matter how hard you try. Well, no, even if you look, the only way to shoot a really cool video is to take a video that went viral for your competitors, One of those videos you've probably seen and thought was impressive, and then break it down with full analytics, carefully examining every detail to understand what made it so successful. So for that, you need a bit of analytical thinking. Count the number of shots. What did this person do in the frame? Carefully analyze each shot with a stopwatch note, exactly how long it lasted, precisely what was in the frame, and specifically what things caught your attention, and then try to shoot the exact same thing identically with the same emotions and feelings and edit it in the same way. So really, that's the only way to truly get something that gives you a significant boost. But you shouldn't forget that there are copyright laws, right? So that's how it is. Although, for example, I've shot a bunch of videos, remember, I told you about the hanging belly. Later, I came across at least 10 people on TikTok who repeated my video word for word, and they also got a ton of views. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do anything about it. I think it's funny because in their comments, people are like, why did you steal everything from Spartak? So you see, that's how it is. Laughter. So if you like, go ahead and copy. It's really hard to film everything yourself. Try to copy, just reshoot this, reshoot something else, reshoot 100 cool videos. Once you do that, you'll start to understand how it's done. 100 videos is the goal. What do I need? 2 videos today, it'll take me 50 days.
There's a rule in sales. When people start at a company with a new product and making cold calls, the first 50 don't count, or sometimes the first 300. So people don't judge or devalue themselves if results are bad or nothing is working out. They say the first 300 are just...
They don't mean anything, right?
And this is a great idea. Reshoot 100 videos, not just shoot 100 videos, reshoot them. That's insane. Such a cool thought.
But of course, that's going to take a huge amount of effort, you know? I mean, first of all, you have to find out. Yeah, will this work for you? Will you be able to do it? I mean, well, for that, you'll have to watch thousands of videos, you know? It's not that simple, just to pick 100 great videos. Well, no. Like, if some woman sings amazingly, you won't be able to sing like that.
Yeah.
No matter how cool the shots change. You get what I mean, right?
No matter how you storyboard it.
Yes. So it's not about the storyboard here. But something that's actually funny, or say some viral topic like capturing a natural disaster that gets 1 million likes. What can you do about that? Nothing. You see, there's nothing you can do. So you really need to have a keen eye for this kind of thing. You need to watch thousands and thousands, and then you'll be fine.
Cool.
Yes.
Another element, yeah, right here. They covered it up with a remote on the fiery fifth element. Look, your entire previous path is now absolutely and completely inaccessible, and everything you did, you don't have access to your channels. You're not a blogger anymore. You don't have any assets with an audience. Let's say you sold them and didn't get any money for it.
So I have nothing and nobody knows me.
Nothing.
All right, I'm a newbie.
People know you.
They know me?
No assets.
All right.
And all your skills do remain.
Yes.
All your background, all your precision, facial expressions, voice.
Yes.
You are exactly who you are.
Right.
And you join our project as the third member. And your vision, how are we going to develop the project? What can be strengthened, improved, added, or done differently?
Podcasts. Podcasts are an interesting new thing for YouTube. I mean, first of all, they're long videos, right? So they're long form videos. I mean, I'm a specialist in short videos. We definitely need to pick out and make shorts. So short videos for both TikTok and YouTube are a must. 100%. You can do Instagram too. They do really well there as well. You need to pick out moments. Make shorts that are about 20 seconds long, no more. Because after that, the viewer's attention drops off. 20 seconds. In those 20 seconds, you should have at least 10 scene changes. 10 scene changes. It could be a zoom or text or something else, some elements, whatever. You see, viewers' attention is so, well, scattered these days. You know, this banner blindness is crazy, but it can be bypassed. So, you know, a person needs something like an arrow flying in and pointing to a word, he'll follow it. So you need to take these things into account. Shorts definitely need to have some controversial cuts. For example, if I'm talking about haters, right, and I say something like, I'll do this and that to all of you, for instance, that should be at the start. Then for 3 to 5 seconds, why did Spartak say it like that? This and that, blah, blah, blah. That's it. Don't say anything more. See details there. They will watch. So you need to have these kinds of controversial bits, cuts, and they should go straight into shorts. You can gain an audience from shorts. It's very hard to build an audience from long videos. So long videos are basically the end goal. So we make a huge number of shortcuts and then spread them across all the different social networks. And even if just one of the shorts goes viral, that's actually really interesting. So you made a cut, one of the shorts got 1 million views. A week later, upload it again, edit it a little, just tweak it a bit so that the internal content, the video's hash rate is different. So it's not exactly the same thing, you get it, right? So that the video hosting platform recognizes it as a new video. Because, for example, when I shoot a video and upload it, it feels to me like everyone has already seen it. No! A month later, a completely different audience will be watching it, a totally different one. You re-edit it and upload it again. So those videos that get millions of views, you can actually upload them over and over again with slightly different music, a slightly different intro. And this way you can really gain a huge audience through shorts.
This works on all social networks?
Yes. Just post them everywhere, make cool edits and top performing videos that really went viral. So if you find one top video, right? Like this particular edit really took off. Make 10 different versions of that edit and keep posting them all the time. Let it burn out. You get it? So there's no need to make 20 different versions and see what happens. No, make about 5. Okay, this one top video went viral, then you make 10 versions of it, and that's fine. If he continues to shoot, do the same.
Like Mr.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, yeah, I get it.
How many times reshot?
It's exactly the same thing, 1-to-1. But damn, the audience is huge. Everyone totally gets that those are actors, right? I mean, everyone knows those are fake plastic or paper bills, but it doesn't matter. Everyone still watches.
Yeah. From the perspective of monetization, based on your experience since you got into podcasts, how would you monetize?
This is actually really interesting because, for example, I always advocate for creating your own products, but I have no idea what kind of products you could have here. So do you guys have a monetization plan? So what kind of plan?
There are several levels to how we see it. First level is subscription.
Yes.
There is free content.
Like on Boosty? Yeah, something like that.
These interviews are free content for people so they can get involved and maybe change something in their lives. There will be live streams and some closed like behind the scenes, look at how we work on the project. We now record all project discussions and film them. There will be a block of materials available only to members. People can subscribe and get access to these exclusive sections.
All right, I see.
There are different levels, like the gold subscription. That's for access to the product supermarket. It's kind of like that. There will be programs from different experts and some special offers from them as well. It's a one-time subscription to access a certain level, a single payment. There will also be a monthly subscription to access sections about what's happening in our lives. The second level is a reality show. In fact, this week we're launching the Extra Million coaching program. It's about adding $1 million to your income. All this will happen in real time.
Right.
And then we'll somehow...
What does it look like? I mean...
It's a few podcasts with the main character at the beginning when they start, then in the middle showing the overall dynamics.
So you mean he progresses, he grows in business, right?
Yes, in his business, with his products. And then there's a podcast at the end. And throughout this month, we work with him every day, support him, make adjustments, guide him, and strengthen him with all our knowledge. My strength is being systematic, while Artyom brings ease and creativity to give that explosive boost. For now, this is how I see it. We're still refining the idea. It's a mastermind community that unites people not around us, because our expertise is only so extensive, but around all the experts who are with us, who participate here in the podcasts. Their expertise is dozens, hundreds, even thousands of times greater. It will be a mastermind centered around the experts. It's a journey with meaning. These are trips to beautiful places around the world where an expert also goes. Around the people and the Lokashona community forms, which also has the chance to travel, enjoy amazing places, and connect with a powerful circle of people. And it's not about education. For now, these are the kinds of formats I see for monetization.
That's a difficult path. Well, I mean, it's all fine. A subscription, the only thing is for the materials, that's actually pretty easy to implement. And in principle, it will be in demand. Because, well, the same audience that knows me or knows someone else will gladly watch it. There are people with purchasing power who are interested in this. Listen, well, first of all, the podcasts themselves could also be paid. You know, when the audience grows.
And in this, it's like we have an internal a difference in values, that you want to talk to cool people and for money not to be a factor here, right? There is one section for that. And there's a third section called Transition, which I host. Right now, we have 3 sections. What we're doing now, this is unpacking outstanding achievements in your life. And you as a powerful person. There's a second one, which Artem hosts, called Bali, the place of attraction, heart-to-heart conversations. It's warm and cozy like that. There's a third one, which I host, where it's an interview analysis, where we unpack how a person got into business, what their current situation is, and how they can achieve growth results right during the interview. For that one, we're considering possibly making it paid access after some time. because otherwise the value that's created there just gets diminished. That's just the only reason.
In short, we need to think about it. We need to think about monetization. Interesting. It's a challenge.
Awesome. We played cash flow.
Yeah, we need to play and think it over.
Meditate on it. 6th tip. Firm rule.
Just do it.
Keep going.
Just do it. It doesn't matter how it turned out. If you filmed, even if you filmed it badly, if it's a crappy video, whatever you made, post it. Just post it. Every day.
Awesome.
Fire.
I really enjoyed our conversation. This is definitely the most fun podcast we've ever recorded. Absolutely.
Awesome.
You're truly an amazing person.
Thank you.
Very easygoing. And honestly,
Nice.
I've enjoyed myself the whole time, whether as a viewer or when we were filming with you in the gym this morning. And now it's just pure energy.
Well, it's awesome. We've shot a ton of content, you know? It's great. It's a cool boost for everything. And like I said, I honestly don't consider myself to be someone particularly special. For me, all of this is just so incredibly wonderful.
Let million subscriber bloggers be easygoing like Spartak and come to our studio just as lightly.
Yura Paskokotski is like, turns out you're not so bad after all. So are we done?
Yes.
Thank you. Giving you a crab handshake.